In the world of Dungeon and Stone, I am an expert. I know where and what kind of monsters appear, their habits, and their weaknesses. I can recite them without even thinking. Based on this, I made my final decision. With the barbarian's body and my knowledge combined, I believed I could survive in the labyrinth. At least at that time, I truly believed so. As soon as I entered the labyrinth, everything went dark. Not as a metaphor for the future, but literally, I couldn't see anything. I probably wouldn't notice if someone blindfolded me right now. It wouldn't make much difference anyway. Damn, I felt like I had been hit hard on the back of my head. All the barbarians only carried one weapon, so I didn't even question this part. Normally, you don't need a torch on the first floor. The crystals on the walls provide light. Of course, there are dark areas on the first floor, but except for the outermost part leading to the second floor, it's only a small portion. Oh, am I in that place now? I quickly formed a hypothesis. The starting position in the labyrinth is random. Of course, it's said to be random, but you never get thrown into a place like this. Even if you start at the outskirts, there's always a glowing crystal nearby. But this isn't just a game world seen through a monitor. What if those things were conveniences given to players by the creators? What if, in reality, starting in a dark area is possible? If so, it explains my current situation. It must be so. If the entire first floor is like this, I can't survive even a day. Phew, calming down a bit after organizing my thoughts, I felt a little better. Fortunately, my eyes seemed to have adjusted to the darkness, and I could see outlines now. It's not a situation to bite my tongue in despair. Let's check things first. Now I'm finally alone. Status window, equipment window, character info, status, inventory, check log. Damn. As expected, it doesn't work. Well, I didn't expect it anyway. Let's go. With a shield in one hand and the other hand on the wall, I moved forward. My speed was slightly faster than crawling. Or maybe crawling would be faster, but I couldn't go any faster. It's dangerous. Suddenly a sharp pain shot up from my ankle. It was a pain I had never felt before, and my nerves went wild. But even in that moment, I quickly assessed the situation. What went wrong? Without a combat log, the answer came quickly. The character stepped on a goblin trap. Damn, I stepped on a trap. Damn, my mind went blank. I wanted to scream immediately, but I held back desperately. If screaming would improve the situation, I might have considered it, but I knew it would only make things worse. My heart raced like it was broken. Huff, huff, huff. I forced myself to calm my breathing by pressing my lips together. What I needed to think about now wasn't how much pain and difficulty I was in. There's only one monster that uses traps on the first floor, goblins, and they must be nearby. I instinctively raised my shield to cover my head. Then I stopped breathing altogether and focused on my hearing. I couldn't hear anything. It was as if time had stopped. Is there nothing? I didn't know. Maybe it was possible. Maybe it was just a coincidence that they were away. Goblins must poop too. Damn, I don't even believe that myself. I folded the hope that was creeping in and threw it out of my mind. There were two reasons. One, being positive and being optimistic are different. Two, what I needed now was a negative mindset. If I couldn't be sure, I should assume the worst. The goblin heard my scream. It's hiding in the darkness, waiting for me to weaken. That's why I can't hear anything. It was the same in the game. If there was a trap, there was always a goblin nearby. Phew, I exhaled the breath I had been holding. No matter how things turned out, in such a quiet environment, I should be able to notice if I stayed alert. First, let's do what I need to do. Huff! I lowered my posture, pried open the trap with both hands, and pulled my foot out. Then I tore off a piece of my pants, took off my shoe, and pressed the wound firmly. I decided to abandon the tattered shoe. It was more like a sandal than a shoe. Damn barbarians. If they had at least given me leather boots, I wouldn't have been half crippled by a single trap. Damn, what am I thinking now? Realizing my irrational thoughts, my mind cooled down. I shouldn't be pathetic anymore. No matter how much I blame them, the situation won't change. Ultimately, it was my fault for not checking the ground properly. So stop whining and check my condition. Phew, this is really bad. I couldn't feel my right foot anymore. I could feel the heat, but even that was becoming dull. I know you're hiding, so come out. I muttered quietly. Still, I couldn't sense any presence beyond the darkness. I slowly moved forward. Step. One leg was wrecked, but the pain wasn't as bad as I thought. It seemed to be thanks to the paralyzing poison. I wasn't sure if that was a good thing. Come out, you bastard. I continued to provoke them as I moved forward. Time wasn't on my side. If I had to fight, the sooner the better. The injury was one thing, but I couldn't ignore the possibility that it was waiting for its companions. Not coming out? Of course. This could all be my imagination, and there might not be a goblin at all. Then I'd just be a fool stepping on a trap and making a fuss. But what does it matter? I still want to be a fool who survives. Then just stay there, I'm leaving. I increased my speed. It was only slightly faster than crawling, but it felt like I was sprinting a marathon, step by step. As I forced myself to walk, my right foot started throbbing. Sss! It's one of two things. Either the paralyzing poison's effect has worn off, or the pain has become too severe for it to handle. Come to think of it, neither is bad. If the effect has worn off, that's good. Feeling pain also means the nerve cells are still alive. But why am I only positive about these things? Well, I don't want to think about it. I don't have the mental capacity for it. Your mom's a goblin. Words slipped out of my mouth without filtering. Was it because I had lost so much blood? It felt like my brain was pickled in alcohol. Your dad's a goblin, too. Of course, even as I spat out words, I didn't stop moving. So you're a goblin, too. Finally, it revealed its presence. Can't you stand your parents being insulted? Of course, I knew that wasn't the reason. It wasn't even an insult. The sound came from behind. It seemed like it moved because I was getting farther away. I increased my speed. In response, its footsteps quickened too. Its footsteps were peculiar. With each step, it made a sound like something sticky was being pulled off a smooth surface. Even knowing it was less than a meter tall, it felt like a giant monster was chasing me. To shake off the fear, I kept talking to it. I'm a barbarian. If I can lure it into close combat, I won't lose to a goblin. Don't just follow me. Come on, you weakling. For that reason, I continued to provoke it, but it only followed at a certain distance. It was a sound close to howling, but I could sense it. It was laughing. It was genuinely happy to see its prey bleeding and dying. It wanted me to hear that sound and be afraid. Smart bastard. All right, plan change. I stopped walking and staggered to the ground. My forehead hit the rock, and it felt like it would break, but I didn't make a sound. From now on, it's a battle of patience. If it approaches first thinking I've fallen, I win. If I really collapse before that, I lose. I decided to trust the toughness of this body that had walked about 300 meters with a wrecked foot. Its footsteps slowly approached. It was so slow it made me yawn. Even though its prey had fallen as it wanted, it was suspicious. Damn, why is this goblin so cautious? I couldn't help but curse. In the game, goblins were the weakest mobs. They used poison and traps, but their combat power was pathetic. But what about the goblin I faced in reality? It was no opponent to be underestimated. I realized why the village NPCs talk so much about the goblin's cunning. Compared to the barbarian bastards, these guys seemed several times smarter. It stopped between 5 and 10 meters away. Why? As I wondered about the reason, a dull impact hit my shoulder. What the? Did this bastard just throw a stone at me? It won't keep throwing until I'm a bloody mess, right? Contrary to my worries, it let out a joyful howl. It seemed to think I was dead since I didn't react to the stone throwing. It quickly approached me. I could feel its excitement in its running. I calmed my excitement and measured the distance through sound. And when I judged it was right in front of me. You bastard! I sprang up and reached out to it. I judged that reaching out was faster and had a longer effective range than picking up the shield and swinging it. However, I soon realized my plan had gone awry. There were two reasons again. First, the distance between us was about a step too far, and its movement was much more agile than I expected. It pulled back its waist and retreated. I couldn't see it, but it felt just like that. I instinctively realized I had missed it. Damn, what should I do now? I racked my brain for the next plan. But at that moment, my body moved on its own. It was a truly strange sensation. My vision was still dark, but I instinctively knew where the goblin had jumped. When I realized that, my hand was already changing its trajectory, moving toward it. I felt something caught at my fingertips. Whether it was its wrist, ankle, or neck didn't matter. Ah! I screamed and slammed it to the ground. Crack! Something broke. But I couldn't be relieved, so I immediately climbed onto its upper body. Now the situation had changed. I'm on top and you're below, you bastard! I crazily slammed my face down. I was so excited that I sometimes hit the ground, but this barbarian's body was much stronger than I thought. My fists didn't hurt. Instead, the stone floor cracked. Soon, its movements stopped. Dust scattered. Unusually, it was glowing dust. I stopped my fists. At some point, the goblin's body I was sitting on was breaking into small pieces and scattering. I was dumbfounded. Damn, is this still the same? Please, I wish it would be one thing. Either a game or a reality that's just similar. It's confusing which tune to dance to.
You have defeated a goblin, EXP +1.
Soon, the goblin's body disappeared without a trace. Feeling inexplicable emptiness, I picked up a small stone that had fallen there.
You have acquired a 9th grade magic stone.
It wasn't strong, but it glowed faintly. It was a magic stone used as currency in Dungeon Stone. How much was this again? The memory soon came back. A piece of bread. The average value of a magic stone dropped by a goblin in the game. For some reason I chuckled. Heh! Was all that fuss for just this? My complicated mind felt much clearer. It was like the feeling of laughing after crying a lot. Heh! There's a labyrinth, and there are monsters. Dead monsters leave drop items and disappear. And out there in the city, different races coexist. Indeed, this is such a world. But there will be no more confusion.